Colts Nation, if helmets or helmet accessories interest you, make sure to go to greengridiron.com and use code INDSYN at checkout to get the discount code with it. Whether it's mini helmets, full-size helmets, visors, clips, whatever it may be, different face masks, different variations of helmets, alternate helmets, whatever the case, you can get it at Green Gridiron. And again, that's code INDSYN at checkout for the discount. Thanks for stopping by for another video, and now let's get into it. What's going on, Colts Nation? I appreciate you joining me for another video where in this one, we're going to talk about what we need to expect going into training camp, right? And I feel like through the offseason, we've done a good job of kind of hitting at the things that we are going to be looking for. But as we progress, right, of course, since we had those conversations, things change, right? Time goes on and different things happen. So in this one, I just want to go over what's happening now. Of course, the light in the back here not on, unfortunate unforeseen events. Got to get a new plug for that to be able to get that to work. So it's going to be a couple days on that. Hang with me. I know it looks a little weird as I'm sitting here recording, but nonetheless, what are we looking for going into training camp? And of course, the headliner is going to be the quarterback competition, right? That's going to be number one on everybody's list of what we're going to be looking at going into training camp. And it's gone a couple different ways, right? At the very beginning of offseason work, Anthony Richardson, right, the videos were coming out. You know, we talked about it here on this channel. You know, I was riding the hype train, and you know, thought coming in, I thought he looked good coming in. I thought, you know, a good healthy off season, and then of course, you know, that gets derailed by shoulder soreness. And when that's happening on a surgically repaired shoulder, they went ahead, held him out for the rest of voluntary and mandatory minicamp. And then now we're just waiting for training camp, right? And we're a week away. And with training camp coming up, it's going to be interesting. Like, does he start day one? I feel like he could. I think all along it kind of felt like he could. I think the media at different points has kind of tried to hype up, ooh, what's going to happen? But I feel like the vibe has always been he's probably going to be okay to go on day one. And I don't even think on day one I don't even know if they're going to go that hard. I don't know what their padded days are in terms of, you know, how hard they're going to go. Probably not in pads on day one, if I had to guess. Probably going to come in. They're probably going to do, you know, some light teamwork, light individual work, light teamwork. I don't imagine there's going to be a heavy workload for the quarterbacks anyways. They're on day one. So it'll kind of work out anyways, right? So I think he's going to be good to go. But of course, Daniel Jones has gotten more reps. Of course, Daniel Jones, between college and NFL, much more much more experience right now. Of course, he's been with the Giants, who have been clearly a dysfunctional organization. All their best players leave and go have the best year of their career without the Giants. And so will Daniel Jones be able to do that? It'll be interesting to see if that's something that can happen. And I, of course, sit here and hope that Anthony wins quarterback competition, just selfishly. You know, honestly, I hope he wins it, but I've always been a Daniel Jones believer. So we'll see what happens in the quarterback competition. And if we're going to go for the rest of the week leading up into training camp, we're going to talk about all the different position groups, what we're looking for from the position groups, the competition, what we expect. That's going to lead us into training camp, right? Each of those videos, we're going to start with the quarterbacks tomorrow, and we're going to go every single day. We're going to go back to daily content with training camp coming up. So make sure, if you enjoy the content, make sure you hit the like button, and make sure you're subscribed with notifications on so you get notified when any of these videos do come out as we continue to go into training camp. But getting more into this, right? So we have the quarterback competition. Then what's next? Of course, how the defense operates, right? And there's a broad spectrum on that, but we did have some conversations about the defense, right? I tried to include film in that, but apparently you can't use all 22 anymore either. So that's unfortunate. So trying to find content that I can give you guys that's not going to be copyrighted is becoming very difficult. but still gonna work on that. I'm gonna try to find a way to be able to get you guys some sort of film and try to help you in that regard. But as we look at the defense going into training camp, it's going to be right. How aggressive is the defense going to be now in practice? I'm not sure really how much of a tell that's going to be for what they're going to do in season, right? Like, how much are you going to go after your own quarterback? Now, in the same regard, like you have to work on that stuff in practice. So maybe I'm just tripping. I think I am. I think I'm far enough away from practices that I'm not remembering. But now I sit here and think about it, I don't really think that's going to be much of a factor. So I just think the aggressiveness of the defense. What's the alignment going to be? I think that's going to be a major thing. You look at of course, the front four, right? Who's the starting front four? What's that going to look like? Is there going to be a rotation, or is there a clear one and two in terms of these are our starters? They're going to be playing most of the time, and maybe on specialty downs, or if a guy clearly a little winded needs a couple downs off, we'll sub somebody in. Like, it's going to be interesting to see how the defensive line works. I think the front four will probably be most of the same guy, like 75%, all of them playing at least 75% of the time, which I think would be helpful to have Latu on the field for that amount of time or more. And then when you look at the secondary, right, we know who the starters are going to be. The question is who's a sixth DB in those packages, right? We know Luanarumo for quite a bit. I guess I never did go look at the number. I don't even know if there was a setting to where I could get it whittled down to six DBs being on the field. But I know as I was going through, looking at the tape, it shows the players on the side, the players that are on the field on the side, and sometimes it was four corners and two safeties. Sometimes it was three safeties and three corners. So who's that going to be? Right, Juju Brents. There's some speculation that he could be the third safety, um, and which would kind of fit in that role. And I would wonder, like, does that mean? As I've heard that, I've wondered, does it mean third safety on the field, or like if either one of our safeties get hurt, Juju Brents is the one coming in, which I think at his size with his aggressiveness, I think he could probably fit in and do that pretty well too. And he yeah, I just think Juju Brents at safety is actually probably a pretty good idea. And but will he get on the field? Right, Hunter Wolder, we've heard that name, guy that we drafted late, but somebody that a lot of people think could be very versatile in this defense. Coming in as he was a safety in college, but kind of transitioned to linebacker almost. So he's kind of that tweener kind of athlete, tweener kind of size. So what's his role going to be? Is he going to be able to get on the field? Is he going to be? I feel like he could definitely be like a special teams ace, like somebody we rely heavily on special teams. Um, or will he find a way to work himself into the lineup as training camp goes along? That battle for the 6th DB is going to be extremely important for how this defense operates. So watching how the defense operates as a whole, and how, like, does it seem more effective, right? And do what I want to see. Like, I'm going to be at a couple of the practices there in Indy, and what I want to see is just more reactiveness. Like, I want to see just quicker reaction, and decisive reaction, I guess is the word that I'm really looking for here. More decisive reaction from the defense, and less reacting to what the offense is doing, and more just reacting to what they see and what they know they need to do. Like, this is what I've been talking about. Take the dogs off the leash. And this is the time. And Lou Anarumo's going to do it. I have no doubt about Lou Anarumo taking a leash off the dogs here. So I'm excited to see what happens there from that aspect, which, of course, now you get the quarterbacks down, you get the defense down. After that, of course, you want to see Tyler Warren. What's his role going to be? What's the offense going to look like? How involved is A.D. Mitchell going to be this year? That's going to be interesting. Alec Pierce coming up contract year, last year of his rookie deal. So going forward, what's it going to look like for Josh Downs and Alec Pierce and AD Mitchell? Right? What are the roles going to be there? Does Ashton Doolin get a role? Right? I feel like at least me, like he kind of forgotten about. He's always a special teamer, but there are different points in his career where he's had to get in and make plays at wide receiver, and he has done that throughout his career. I just think over time working with Reggie Wayne, I think he's really sharp. Of course, he has his speed, so can't just forget about Ashton Doolin, DJ Montgomery, Laquan Treadwell being on practice squad. We have a deep receiver room, which is great, but what's going to happen with him, right? And what's going to happen with the offensive line? And it feels like Mac is probably going to be the one that ends up starting at right guard, but we'll see what happens there. I think that's going to be the big question. And how will this offensive line operate coming into another season? Braden Smith coming back after a tumultuous, injury filled and mental health, not in a good spot, right? He and everything that he went through last season coming back, and how's he's going to do. It seemed like, by all accounts, seemed like he is a guy that's excited to come back, be with the team, be around the guys, work towards something, and he took a discount to come back and to be back on the team. So what's going to happen with Braden? Who's going to be a right guard, and what's that going to look like? How's that going to look? I think Mac and Savez talked about it when he got drafted. If we have to put him at right guard, I think he can fit there. I still believe that. There's nothing that has happened to make me not believe that. His body type, I just feel like it's going to be better at right guard for him, and so we'll see how that goes. Then, of course, you have the running back. Really, the only thing we haven't talked about yet, I guess, linebacker, right? Going to be interesting to see how Jalen Carlisle does. But at running back, of course, JT. But then after him, um, right, I'm excited to see Khalil Herbert in a Colts uniform. Been wanting to see that in years past when he was made available, and now that he's on the Colts, I'm excited to see him. But then we draft DJ Giddens. DJ Giddens seems like he can be a guy. Like he could probably, I feel like, develop into a team's number one running back sooner rather than later. So having JT, Khalil Herbert, and DJ Giddens, and Naheem Hines is trying to come back. We already have Tyler Goodson, right? Who's had his ups and downs, but definitely has made some plays for the Colts. So we're good at running back, which is great. What's going to happen at running back too? How's that committee going to work out? Right? In practice, all the running backs are going to get work. So it's going to be tough to really try to find out how that rotation is going to work out till we get to week one. I think that's one of the positions we're not going to be able to really see a whole lot, because I feel like even with the number one offense, right, is JT taking every snap all day with the number one offense? Are they letting like the active roster running backs stick with the first team and then having practice squad running backs with the second team? Like, I don't know, I haven't been at practice, I don't know exactly how that works and how they're going to work that, but it'll be interesting to see again how these guys and how they're able to make plays. I think again we're really good at like honestly, dude, we're deep at like everything on the offense except really offensive line. Like we have some depth. I think if you want to, I like our depth. I'm not as out on our depth. Of course, I'd like it to be better, but like backup offensive linemen in the NFL or backup offensive linemen in the NFL. And you can't really complain about that. I think every team has a problem with depth. It's just the way it is. But overall, offense, I mean, we have two different quarterbacks that if they take the reins, like I'm gonna like as long as somebody wins the job, really goes out and wins the job, I'm gonna feel good about the team either way going into week one. And overall, running backs feel good about. Overall, wide receivers we're deep. So the offense is deep. The defense getting a much needed change in terms of scheme and a much needed vibe change in terms of players, where you're bringing in a couple of really solid, some of the best guys at their position, and a corner and a safety, bringing in Ward and Bynum. You have Kenny, you have Defoe, you have Grover, you have Latu, you have Zaire, right? So going into this year, going into this training camp, it's about the guys that have been here taking that next step, right? All along, we've been saying, if this happens and this happens and this happens, this team will be incredible. Well, now the defense got all the changes they could possibly have. Dude, Chris Ballard and his team did a phenomenal job this offseason. Of course, no team has a flawless offseason, but whew, you talk about filling holes that need to be filled, changing the defense that needed to be changed. You get good quarterback play, we win a lot of games. That's this team. And I need to see the players start to take that step in training camp, and this team start to galvanize around the quarterback in training camp. Again, hopefully it's Anthony Richardson. I think this team, early on, if Anthony Richardson can make a couple of wow plays and just look a little bit better, right? Somebody that can hit the mark a little more, make good decisions, really take the reins and be a vocal leader, the team's going to rally around that. If the team rallies around a quarterback, that's the quarterback that's going to win. And they're going to rally around the quarterback that gives them the best chance to win. And if that happens for Anthony this year, I see us going further than we have in years past, because we are a better team. Offensively, defensively, special teams, we should be a better team. And that is what we're looking for going into training camp. Can we take the next step now that the front office has done their part? Can't argue with it. The front office has put the pieces in place. The players have to be able to do their thing. The coaches have to be able to do their thing. This is the year. And training camp is going to tell us a lot. Again, I'm going to be at some of the training camp practices. Haven't bought my tickets yet. That's actually probably something I'm going to do here just a little while. But I think I might be at all 4 practices while I'm there, including the joint practice. So far, I think that's going to be the plan for me. So if any of you are there, hey, it'd be cool to see you guys there. Pop up if you see me. Don't hesitate to say something to me. Would love to see you guys, talk to you, take pictures, whatever the case may be. I think that'd be awesome. I think it's a really good opportunity to be able to get to know some of you guys. And I live in Florida. It's not like I can see anybody just walking around at any point. So, like I said, if you see me at practice, don't hesitate to say something. And again, we're going to have videos every single day this week. We're going to start with the quarterbacks. We're going to talk about the offense, and we're going to talk about the defense. We're going to lead right into training camp. Okay, but we're going to get very detailed on all the different positions and talk about all the things that go into it, and all the things that we're looking for. So please, again, if you enjoy the content, make sure to hit the like button and make sure to subscribe and have notifications on so that you get notified anytime we drop any content here. Of course, appreciate you stopping by for another video. And as always, take care of yourself, take care of each other, and go Colts.